Alright, still playing carrier, starting with the second turn over here. And, well, I've deployed the new Japanese forces, and there are a lot of them. What is it, 7 new counters here? 3, 6, 7 plus a transport. Those are all going to go in the cup in a moment. But these kind of snuck up on me. We got guys up here. Now, they're not quite close enough to be in range of the searches. If I had been clever, I would have had my searches. Ooh, no, they had to be in the used box. See, yeah, I would have timed my searches so that so that I got my search rolls on the last turn of the game, because then there would be on the last phase of the turn, because then there would have been a chance of discovering these guys. I would have to double check them. There's a rule for that. Basically, if they slip into my search range while I have planes out in the used box at that range, then there's a chance that you discover them. That's a little mechanical quirkiness there, that, hey, there's this special time when you want to have your planes in a specific place, just because that's when the Japs arrive. Which I guess is one of those little things one learns as they play, that doesn't really suit anything other than the mechanics of the game itself. It doesn't actually have any simulation value that I can think of. One interesting thing, I got one of them asterisk results over here. I'll zoom in there in a moment. That's forces arrive with a level 1 surface shit. If surface commitment is greater than or equal to, then it doesn't arrive, which is to say we already kind of know what's there. There's no location, but I'm aware of what's in there. And we got that chit there. That does not have a commitment increase in and of itself, but it couldn't mean anything if I reach my commitment levels. I also, in between the turns, added this retire limit. Once the Japanese take enough casualties, the entire fleet leaves. But as they take casualties, more reinforcements become available at the beginning of the new days. I looked that up because I was fuzzy on the idea there. And then also for the strike box, I've moved the time aloft marker into the strike box. I think it's easier for me to keep track of there. I still don't know what these are for. There's a lot of things in the game that I don't know what those are for. I don't know what these are for, that I feel very uncertain of. Maybe I needed to read the rules. Yeah. Now, maybe I needed to read the rules with the map in front of me to look up everything as I saw it. I have no real memory of any of these suckers. And I don't seem to have chits which correspond to them. So the hits, hey, anything could go in there, but I don't seem to have anything that matches these task force displays. And I just don't know. Maybe they're in here. I've looked in here, though, before, and I haven't seen any letter markers. So it doesn't make sense to have a big stack of units there. Don't know. All right. Well, we'll start the first phase of this one. Now here's something I did forget. I had to go find this. A little strike 1, target located, or target approximately located. The reason that I have to know whether it's located or not, that's to express how well I knew where that was when I launched my planes. Because I don't have a lot of radio contact, or I don't have significant contact like you would with a modern force, where I could keep pinpointing the location if I get further information. But more importantly, in terms of the game, I could lose my awareness of this in general from the fleet. Now, when you strike an enemy force, you do get an upgrade in intelligence on that force, just as if you searched it. But you have to succeed in finding it. And this just helps my odds. How well I have it pinpointed before the attack, it increases my chances of actually finding it. And that's why it's important that I have that extra point of time aloft, because I can spend one extra round, I believe. I'm not sure exactly how it works, looking for them once I'm in the area I expect them to be. Now, even if that's not sufficient, even if I go over my limit in terms of fuel, that's not death, although it might be. It just changes the amount of planes that make it back successfully. Just like night landings, there's some risk involved in trying to extend the range of my bombers or whatever on a mission. Such as. I also have the ability to split if need be. That's a little complex for my taste right now, but it might be possible, say, that I had planes that wouldn't be able to make it back, and I don't want them to continue the search, and I could create a new airstrike out of them and start sending them back to return or something. Alright. Well, I'm really dragging my feet on this game. Just a lot of lookup and my own expectations here. Okay, so forces in play went up, so I drew 6 chits this time. If we zoom in, we can see that. And see a whole pile of them. The only really interesting one to me was C7. The others just moved, die roll of 10. This one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just not quite close enough to my task force to strike it. So I got a little lucky there. I've got cap up, I hope. I better. Yeah, I've got cap up on both my carrier forces. And quite a bit of cap. The basic feeling here being I don't want to lose my carriers. And until I see something that I'm really worried about, I'm not too concerned. Plus, I've got a couple of fighters. I'm hoping that's enough to get my bombers into play and hit with. Nothing's really changed. Nothing moved into my now very limited range here. So now it's my U.S. turn, and again, I get to move the U.S. forces on 1 and 3 for the pulses. So this turn I do get to move, and I should flip these over to remind me, but I also have to move my airplane and update his time in the air marker. Should be getting a copy of Task Force soon. Put an order on. I haven't paid for it yet, but the guy hasn't sent me an invoice, but curious how that actually works out. Alright. It's been a game I've wanted for a long time. So now I've got to think about my planes. I'll let you know if I do anything interesting, but I don't think I will. I do have to cycle things. These guys. They're coming into the landing box. And this is my last turn to launch. Next turn I'm going to be landing planes onto my flight deck. You can't launch and land on the same turn. I've got my bombers out. I would like to do another search though. I'm very worried about the quantity of Japanese stuff out there. Throwing fighters in my search isn't terribly useful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to launch myself one of these SBDs. I don't want to launch this. That restricts my range for searching too much. So that should be fine. Alright. Okay, I got my first possible problem. I drew a C-20 combat force. That's over here. Now I don't know what this is, but it's within 5 hexes of me. If it's a carrier, it can attack me. Now, just because it doesn't attack me doesn't mean it's not a carrier. What I do in this case, because it's a level 0 force, I have to see, is it a carrier that knows where I am? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a chit from my combat worthy stuff and try not to look, and I get a dummy. If any other chit is drawn, replace it in the cup and stop. Even a dummy is replaced. So I just didn't get attacked. I don't get to clear that because I don't know that it's not there. It could be a real force. All that I know is that I didn't get attacked. It could still be a carrier there. And let me flip the last chit over. That's going to be C-15. My die roll is a 6 right now. C-15 is not my buddy. Where's he hiding? He's hiding here. and he's going to slide over there. And that's not in any risk of anyone there. So now it's back on me. Among other things, I pump this forward. I push this out. I'm probably going to search there. I think I've got full stuff here. I may want to pull some of these down. I think I can pull them straight to servicing. I have to look that up. It would be kind of weird if they're all filled and armed, but I have to bring them back to the hangar. I don't think that's the case. The game generally tends to be pretty reasonable about things. Okay, but I do have my searches. See if I find anything. We've seen what the search procedure works like, so I'll just come back with what I found. Oops, I forgot to move my ship. I gotta get him a little closer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's not quite in range yet. I'd like to hold off and see if I can have my planes in the air for him at the right place at the end of the turn, just in case more crap shows up down here. In that kind of surprising situation that I had this game. But again, back to the search. Those searches weren't terribly effective. I got one biggie. I managed to maintain contact with this. I got another locate. Now, I thought if you had a locate and you got another locate, it went up in level. But I think I'm mistaken about that. I seem to remember that, but I do not see. I think I have to get the chit +1. Now I've got trouble with my searching, something I didn't notice on the first search. It's January to July 42. I'm not as good at searching. Ooh, but there was a -1 in there. I don't remember if I got a 4 or a 5 natural there. I'm going to leave it as is. I've got a -1 for finding that. This guy, though, I got to get myself a little located marker for him. Because I discovered myself a level 2, either 2 to 3 carriers in a group there. That becomes now my focus. If I could rearrange him, I'd love that. Oh, I've lost count. You know, talking makes this hard. I've done the searches, but I haven't flown in. I'm going to just fly into here, and I'll come back in a moment because I think I get to start my strike process here. Oh man, I also lost track of these guys. I got 4 to bring in. I got room on the deck. I'll just land them. I think they were supposed to land last round. It's really hard for me to keep track of this many things in a game. Now here I'm confused. I've got this marked at 3. I probably lost track of this too. I think I was here. But 1, 2, 3, that would be 4. Now I incremented this, but it's got to be up to 4 at this point. That's important because under the contact table, if I can find that, I have to worry about the amount of time I've been in the air. The longer I've been in the air, the harder it is to find the enemy. Well, I'll try to find that table. Okay, let's try to figure out what the total here is in terms of column shifts. I found the table. That wasn't too hard. Die roll modifiers, I get +1 because the target force is currently inverted because I successfully searched for it just previously. -3, well, let's see, how many steps do I have in the strike? I think it's more than 4 and less than 9. It's 5 steps, so I get no modifier there, but I get a -1 due to the time, and I do not get a column shift against me for the target marker. So let's see what we got. Our time aloft is 1 to 4, that's a good range. I roll a big old 10, that's a C. That sounds good. C is contact target. Target becomes located and is inverted. Target should increase. Target non-carrier force, it's going to increase to level 4, which means I got to determine what's there, and then I get to attack it. Of course, the rules contradict that. They say target should increase for intelligence that raises 1 level. That wouldn't make sense because I have to hit the ships, I think. So I started looking further in the rules, and uh-oh, I run out here. I got Japanese surprise, which is if I hit a carrier, I might have a chance of catching it with the planes on the deck or something. And then I've got cap. There shouldn't be cap on this. Japanese don't assign cap, from what I understand, to surface forces. But I've run out. I don't know how I'm going to launch my attacks. I got to find the rules for that. But I also have to figure out what happens when I hit level 4 on this fleet. Well, now, elsewhere in the rules, it does say here if it's a surface or transport force. And one of the problems may be that there's different games kind of interwoven into this, in the sense that you're playing it either with standard rules or not. So maybe what I caught in the other section was some part of the rules that doesn't apply. I hate games doing that, but this is, I could see why you need that in this game, some people at least. This is fairly complex. I needed to do a training scenario. If the target is a carrier force, if it's a surface or transport at 1 or 2, increase to level 4 immediately. Well, here's the problem. Surface forces, or anything, can go from 2 to 3, and from 3 to 4. But I gotta do both steps as far as I can tell. I don't see any rules about that. I'm just gonna assume I roll my way up. So let's see what we get. We're gonna be rolling here. Now, do we get any modifiers here? I don't see any indication. So let's see. What is this? A level 1 medium. Uh-oh, I got to start at level 1? Whoa. Okay, so I got to work my way up all the way through these charts. So it's a level 1 medium, and it could end up a carrier force through this. And indeed, it looks like it does, but let me check. Carrier commitment is 5 or less, no. Secondary objective, no. Revealed air strength modifier. Yeah, I don't know what that is. I have not revealed any air strength, so I'm assuming I'll be getting a -4 on there. So I get to a 5. That means it's not a carrier, which seems a little weird to me, but okay. Oh! No, there's no revealed air strength on that force. Okay, whatever that means. So I think I just don't modify that, which means I get a 9. That's a 2 to 3 carrier group. Okay? Well, I don't know if I stop here. I'm going to have to look at the rules some more, because if it was a carrier group, I wouldn't continue all the way up. Okay, so my best guess, and the rules don't terribly help with this, they talk about a carrier having revealed air strength. And I think the revealed air strength is these numbers across here. That's a strength that's been shown for that carrier. Well, and I'm going to play this as though it's been a carrier all along at this point. I think the none column is what you use because no revealed air strength has happened. So now I roll a die, and I'll see how many carriers and CVLs I have, and then I've got to kind of draw for those. I get a 1, so I'm going to get 1 of each. Okay? We'll sort through my Japanese ships and sort them by type and see what we come up with. Now, it doesn't look like I picked the actual ships. I pick up to a level 3 carrier. Now, I've got a couple of numbers on here, 11 and 13. I don't know which is the air strength. Well, that's not guaranteed there. So I've got an anti-air level and an air value. So the air value is 13. Now I get to play some math games here. Somewhere. It tells me what goes up. I get like 3/4 of 13 rounded one way or another. I don't know what. If the target force did not have a revealed air strength but is a carrier, possibly becoming one in step 1, which is what happened to me. I think, except that wasn't step 1, that would be actually down here in step 2 or something. 3/4 the air value the force has. So 4 goes into 12 3 times, that would be 9. I don't know if it's 9 or 10, and you know, honestly, I don't want to look up another damn roll. So I'm just going to help myself and perhaps cheat here by boosting this up to 10. Now my carrier limit is almost up there. This may cause issues for this other carrier force here, and I remember there being some rule like that somewhere in this massive tome. But right now I'm concerned with this carrier group that I'm hitting and what the rules are that I have to read to figure out what I have to do at this point. Okay, so lucky for me I noticed the next rule, which I was aware of, but maybe didn't remember too well. Japanese screens, anytime you have a carrier and it gets attacked or bumped up, I have to determine what ships are screening it. Now, they're not going to be covered by this counter, which covers the air power of the carrier. Instead, and I spent about 10 minutes looking for this, which is right in plain sight, but this game is so filled with charts. The screen generation table, I looked this up, CV plus CVL means I go to the medium surface, and I go here, and I get to roll on there. Now, I've got a big question if I end up getting a carrier here. Oh, I don't want to know. I sure hope I don't, because I don't want to look that up. But I roll a die, and I get a 3 that says medium destroyer. So I think I need a medium destroyer chart. But is that enough? I don't know. We'll see. So I found myself a level 3 medium destroyer group, and it's got a couple of numbers on it, a 6 and a 2. Let's see if we can figure out what those say. AA looks like 6. I hope that 2 is commitment value. But I see no indication of that yet. Oh boy. So I shall have to look through some more rules to see if I can figure out where the commitment value happens, because this does get charged against them. One difference is sometimes if you're close to the commitment limit, something doesn't show up. That will never happen with a carrier screen, apparently. But I got to try to look that up. And yes, this is, taking an hour to figure this out. I'm sure it's easy once you're used to it and have played this many, many times. But facing this the first time, I'm really saying to myself, man, it ain't worth it. There are computer games that I could play that would give me this same experience. It's a wonder for its time, but so now that over here with the AA value up here is for carriers only. If we go over here, the commitment value is here at 10, and then there's the mystery number, which I don't know. But I gotta assume that's the anti-air value or something. Not really specified, but AA values look like they're way up here on these. And if I go over here to my counters for destroyers, we'll see that they have an anti-air of 1 and other values, bombardment of 1, hit capacity 3. So I'm assuming that 2 is his anti-air. I'll raise my commitment by 6. That's surface commitment. That seems quite a bit for a couple of destroyers, but whatever. And now I'll try to figure out what I thought I was going to do, which was the airstrike. But you know what? I need a break. Well, I was certainly right to dread this thing. Anyway, I didn't have time for a break. Now, I find the surprise table, which is, again, buried in all these things. It's just such a complex, mechanically and knowledge of where all the charts are type of system. I roll a die. There's a chance that I'll get something cool, but likely I'm going to be facing Cap, and I don't have any fighters with me, which sucks. I wasn't expecting to find a carrier here. And yeah, no surprise. Now, here comes the problem. I got Cap, but I don't know how I hit. That's some other rules section because, and I don't know where. Maybe it's earlier. I thought U.S. airstrikes was where it would be, but it looks like it's in this air-to-sea attacks. Because the game is programmed instruction, although it's not really, but it sort of is. Hey, here's some rules, now play this. Here's some rules, now play this. Well, they give you kind of the interesting stuff first, like how to attack. But of course, that means the whole rule book's kind of in an inverse order of what you want. To me, attacks would come after this other stuff. Just because my learning style doesn't fit the design that they wanted to play in. So I'll try to figure out how these attacks work and what the hell is happening. Okay, so the error value on this, which I believe is the 13, I just looked it up, but I'm just so frustrated. I get to roll on this cap strength table, which of course is another place. Uh-oh, there's a Japanese cap table too. Shit, I don't know what that does. But I get a cap strength. I rolled a 5. Yeah, that looks like a 9, but if I turn it. And it was on 13. So we're at cap strength of 2. I'll try to mark that and remember what the hell I'm doing there. Alrighty. So now I go to the Japanese cap table. Hey, there's a little cap 2 marker here. And I have penalties against me. +1 because I've got a torpedo bomber with me, which sucks. And then I have no escort, so another +1. So this is bad news for me. And I roll a nice big number. So I'm going to lose, I think, 2 steps. I'm not sure. So eliminated steps are going to attack at half value. Now, I don't know if I want to use my SBDs or TBDs. But I tell you what, are they half strength on the other side? Yeah, I'm going to take 2 steps off my torpedo bombers. I don't know. I don't know if they're significantly better or worse. But these look like they have much, much higher values. So they should be more effective, I hope. Yay! I found out what these boxes are for. This is where I put the damaged units. So I took 2 hits on this unit. It has 2 steps. It's going to be in here. That means its total strength is halved. If I had only taken 1 hit, I would put it like this and half 1. Now we come to something weird, which is the anti-aircraft value. Now for this, we add up the carrier and the screen. That's going to be 17. Shit, poor camera. 17. Yeah, poor you too. Now, you look for the highest number not exceeded, which will be the 15 column. Let's see what we have for modifiers here. 1 to 2 points or 1 to 4 steps attacking. Huh? Okay, I don't know. Points, I guess, is for Japanese. So how many steps do I have attacking? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like 10 steps, which puts me no penalty. All fire. January to July 42, so that's going to give a -1. Okay, and the U.S. is going to lose twice as many steps as the anti-air hits. Which I guess makes sense because the Japanese only lose the number of air points. So we'll roll here, and we get a 10. That can't be good either. I'm going to take another step, another 2 steps, sorry, there. So those are knocked out. And the anti-aircraft value means I'm going to have a +1 to my attack modifier, whatever that means. Now I think I'm going to be coming down to this table, but let me just pause so I can read about it and figure that out. Oh boy, so now I add up the factors I have here, and I have 18, and these are halved. That puts me to 22 air factors, but just because that wouldn't be easy enough, since I have a coordinated attack of both torpedo and dive bombers, I get to add a quarter of the total steps. These steps only count as half, which is another 6, 7, 8 steps. A quarter of that is 2 more, so I'm up to 24. My net number thus is 24. I look that up on here, the air attack table, and again find the number that is less the maximal number that is less than the amount I have. That indicates 2-0. Now 2 means I'm going to get to roll 2 dice on the attack damage table. 0 means I get no bonus or penalty. The AA table gave me a +1 to each die, and none of the other effects are in play there. Things like surprise, lack of cap, etc. I'm going to go after the heavy carrier. I have to choose targets. I could split these dice up against them, but I want to hit the heavy carrier only. So let's see what we get here. An 8 and a 9. That wasn't a bad result from the anti-air. That means I've just done 6 hits to the heavy carrier. That sounds like a lot. Let's see what that does. Well, I can't find any specification or explanation of where these hits go, and I don't know if these markers, I've been using these for the time in the air markers, but they also appear to be the only thing I can use for hits. I don't know. Yeah, yep, they serve double phase. Anyway, I can't find anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach in here and I'm going to pull out a heavy carrier and we're going to see what it is like. Yes, this is sort of going up to level 4, but it's not really. So I've done 6 hits to this thing. And it looks like it's the Shokaku. It looks like it can take 8. Now the Shokaku may or may not exist. It should. But now we page through all these and look to see if it does. Alright, that's not in here. That's somewhere in the rule book instead. And now there's a errata for some of this, but it looks like the Shokaku does indeed exist, so I can have that. And now we look up and see what those numbers mean and what the 6 hits is. It has a hit capacity of 8, so it's there, but it's taken heavy damage. That means a lot of things that I don't understand. And I'm going to have to draw up a little sheet, a chart, for this task force to indicate what's going on it. Unfortunately, I don't have task force markers. Maybe I use these. Or task groups or something like that to indicate what I've got on the board there. I don't know. So what I've done for the Japanese task force, I'm using a yellow chit that matches the number for this. And right now, there's nothing there. Other than that, I can take this off, I guess. I'll leave it there. I don't know. It's on the back of this. I'll flip it to indicate it attacked or something. Because I'm using hit confirmation, I've done 12 hits to that carrier. That's enough to sink it, but it hasn't been confirmed, which means later, if I get another contact with that force, or if I get an increase in the reliability of the intelligence, I will end up being able, when these are destroyed, I'll end up being able to do something. Determine whether or not it's actually sunk. But here's kind of the problem. This has affected some things, and I've got no idea how much of it. I know that I can't really charge the Japanese fleet because of the confirmation rules with the retreat, with the retire index, and I can't be sure how many planes there really are there until that triggers. So there's a lot of stuff that damage is sort of affecting. Right now, though, this is probably heavily damaged, which means its planes are out of commission. So this squadron doesn't disappear, and the carrier stays with it for protection, I guess. But it's I've knocked that heavy carrier out as far as I know. Now, I'm going to have to make some kind of roll. And I tried figuring out this chart, but to write down my damage or something. And it just doesn't make sense to me. It looks like this is only supposed to be handling, oh wait, carrier sinkage and damage. I don't know. But the carrier sunk this turn, which means that I have to put some kind of marker on it to indicate that it's been sunk this turn or heavy damaged. But this is last turn, which I don't know what the hell that's supposed to do, but I'll throw this on the board so that I kind of half remember this, because I want to go to sleep and I don't want to face this anymore right now. So yeah, I don't know what happens because of the damage reporting in terms of any of that. And I don't know if I've done everything for the round even. And I don't know if this is in the right place. Yeah, it looks like it is. So I'll push this up to 3. And the hell with this. Somewhere or another there's a table hit confirmation here. So I reported 12 hits. Now that's not going to stick, and it could be as low as 2, which means that, I didn't really damage it much at all. Or it could be as high as 10, in which case I did indeed sink it. Right now my pilots are coming back saying we sunk it. It was sure to go down. I don't know if there's anything else I have to do here. What's this guy up to? He did the searches this turn, I think. So he's down to used. Alright, I'll load this up and maybe be able to finish this thing. Yeah, and I don't mean anytime soon. This is one day. I've got 3 of them to do. So this is not a short game if you play it all out either.